I am here with a good friend of mine, Elena, and funny story how I met Elena. I was running an all-precinct meeting right around the corner here, and her mother came in, and the guy who was my helper, who was the assistant of that meeting, came over and said, "Dana, I don't know what to do. There's 2 black people here. They don't know what precinct they're from. They could be a plant from the Democrat Party." And so in talking to them, trying to find out where they live, she says, "Well, Jesse Rogers from City Elders said we should get involved, so that's why we're here." And I said, "Jesse Rogers, City Elders, come on in." So great organization here in Tulsa.
It is.
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask Elena today was a couple of questions, but number one, why are you a Republican, or why are you a Republican?
Well, okay, great question. I am a Republican, and certainly it's because of my Christian values. I was raised in a Christian household. I know the Lord, and I can tell you when it was time to vote, it was a great time in my life. It was a very frightening time in my life because I turned 17 while being enlisted in the military. Oh, wow. So I was in Germany, and I had a different perspective of life there. I mean, I knew that the Lord loved people. I knew that, you know, that I had a great foundation on what was right and what's wrong. And then now I'm hearing information from Vietnam veterans who had a perspective, a more worldly perspective than I could have ever known from my little, you know, California household and 16 years of life. And so when it came time to vote, I chose to listen to my elders. I chose to listen to people who were more wise and had lived more life than I had. And I think that it was President Reagan that was in, and you know, I heard Germans saying things like, "Oh, ugly Americans," and Americans need to save face. So all of this language and new words are coming at me, and those are the kinds of ideals that formed my decision. I didn't even realize that I was voting Republican specifically at that time. I just knew that I wanted to vote for America.
Would you consider that conservative? Your thinking was becoming conservative?
Definitely conservative, definitely a country of laws, a country with a rich history, and so I wanted to vote again. My thinking that time is, you know, we have to save America. And that was my teenage thinking. And as I grew older, then I started looking at the Democratic platform and the Republican platform, and it has evolved and changed dramatically. Certainly the Democratic platforms have. And so, you know, now we're at a critical state where it's a matter of life and death. So I have no choice but to choose life when I choose the Republican platform.
That's good. Now, let me ask you something else. Yeah. You know, there's been a lot about Black Lives Matter and stuff around the country recently because of the George Floyd, although I suspect doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
But you're voting for President Trump.
I am.
And see, I guess you know, a lot of people say if you vote for president, you can't vote for President Trump because he's racist. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know, I have several answers for that. I tell you what, if President Trump is racist, and I have met a lot of racist people in my time, in my many years, he doesn't really show it in how he is protecting the country and putting in policies for Black communities and giving monies to HBCU colleges, and He's not showing it by how he has the First Step Act and that kind of thing. But you know, even if he were racist, it's not there are good people and bad people like he has expressed, and I don't need him to like me. I need him to love America. And I think he does.
That's excellent. I like that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, Dana, you spoke of Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
And of course, Black Lives Matter. My life matters and your life matters. But the organization itself is a fraud. It has been hijacked in so many ways, with Antifa joining, with adding in the LGBTQ, and now I think they're adding a P on the end somewhere for pedophilia. Those organizations all wrapped up in one is just, in my opinion, satanic. So it has been, again, hijacked, assaulted to lead people to the pits of hell. And so what I see with Black Lives Matter, it takes the whole focus off of Black lives. Because if the Black lives matter, then Black policemen's lives would matter, of course. Babies, preborns, lives would matter. Our lives would matter not only at election time, but every day of the week, every day of the year. So Black lives, of course they matter. Black families matter. Black communities matter. America's communities matter, whether they're Asian communities, whether they're Hispanic communities, whatever American communities that we are trying to grow and enhance, all of these lives matter because people matter, because the love of people matters, and that's what's important. We have to learn to unite as families and communities, and certainly as Christians.